Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Curated by Becta's Meal Kit number 65. Wow, 65 for August 11th through 14th. Thanks for ordering this week. Thanks for letting us send some deliciousness your way. Um, it's corn season, and we've got lots of it. Both in the appetizer, we've got this classic Mexican corn dish called elote, and we've got this amazing cheesy pimento cheese corn grits for the main course. So I hope you love corn. We do, and anyway, there's a lot of deliciousness coming your way. So I'm going to try to multitask. The main course has been in the oven now for just over 15 minutes. We need the beef short rib on for 20 minutes at 400 degrees. But I've just turned the oven to broil because this elote, this corn, which comes from Rito Pines Farms in Manotick, they make the best corn. They really do grow the best corn around. And it is going on broil. So what I've done is I've just put the beef on the bottom and I'm broiling the corn on the top. And so you want to take this delicious mayo, ancho mayo, and make sure you cover it and don't use it all because we need some for the bottom. And that is going on the top for 3 to 4 minutes until it caramelizes. But if you guys are doing appetizer first, much easier because I'm trying to do the broil and the bake at the same time. So I baked the short ribs for 15 minutes first, and then I'm putting the corn in, and then we'll do some juggling. I've got a little timer going on. Yeah, so it's actually a really easy meal to finish. If you stagger it and if you do it together, it is too, but you just need to make sure that you're putting things on the different racks. Okay, so first time we've used a knife in a long time. So we've sent you some lovely cilantro that our chefs have picked today, but we don't want to cut it up for you because then it will get all brown and not fresh. So we picked it for you, but you are going to do a little bit of dice, and you want to get it into a very fine dice because you're going to garnish the corn with it. So just take a knife and a really tiny little dice going on. I'm sure there's a famous chef term for this, Bernoise or something, but I'm not sure what that is. That's why I do the videos and not the chefs. So that you guys at home, if you don't know all the terms, you can follow along on the home game. Okay, so you can put the cilantro back in. I know that this meal is going to be super easy for cleanup because two of the dishes, so there's only one pan on the stove and one pot. We've got the pimento cheese grits in a pot on medium low, warming up. I think that might be a little too low. Let me turn it up. And just give that a stir. And then we've got our pan for the veggies for the main course. But other than that, the two containers that the beef short ribs and the corn are coming in go straight into the oven. So that's going to be great. Okay, let's look ahead and see what else I got to do. I've got my lime and the feta cheese and the cilantro now all diced up. We've got more of this. So once the corn is all broiled up, we're going to take it out of the oven, flip it, garnish again, broil some more, and then finish it off. So really, I'm just waiting at this point because the beef also needs a couple different textures. So let's look for dessert. We've got the strawberry sugar cookie bar. Let me come over here for the finishing. Ah, yes, I already jumped ahead. Look at that. Don't do that, Steve. So this is a container for two. I've started to ask our chefs to only send a dessert for one because we were enjoying a lot of desserts at home. So this is twice what I need for one person for the garnishes, but our chefs put it together. Now, hey Google, off. Okay, so that's telling me that my beef is ready to come out and be swapped, but that also tells me that my corn, oh, looking gorgeous, is ready to come out. Okay, so I'm going to deal with the corn first. Let's see, got some tongs. Flip this around. Let me try to not block your view of it so that the ancho mayo can get caramelized on both sides. All right, this guy. So slather it up again. Hey Google, set an alarm for 7 minutes.
Okay, your alarm set for 6:15 p.m.
Now then, I'm gonna put the corn back in, broil it up on the other side. And then next up are short ribs. So take the lid off, glaze with barbecue sauce, and return to the oven and bake with the lid off for an additional 8 minutes. And that's what I've done. Well, I said 7 minutes, but you get the drift. So barbecue sauce, ladle it up on there. And we're gonna, because I've got the oven on broil, I'm gonna make sure to put this on the bottom rack. Okay, but keep the top of the container because that is important because we're going to rest it in there for the next part. And please remind me the timer. Love this barbecue sauce. The timer is going to be for the ribs, so I need to keep an eye on the corn. Okay, back to dessert now. So we've got the tarragon chantilly down first, and then we put the strawberry sugar cookie bar, and then we've got the pistachios. This is such a beautiful dessert, and just sprinkle it all around. And again, this is double what we need because we have garnish for 2, but only dessert for 1. I hope you guys have some nice coupes like this at home because it's a beautiful way to finish off dessert. So there is our strawberry sugar cookie bar, tarragon chantilly, and the pistachio. That is looking nice. All right, let's get this stuff out of the way. Now our corn is going to be almost ready to go. So remove the corn from the oven, brush with the remaining mayo, and garnish with the feta, cilantro, and finally the fresh lime juice. Yeah, she's looking good. All right. Now I'm going to take this off the broil, and I'm going to go back to bake. Don't forget to stir your grits. And I'm going to get this guy going to medium-high heat with 1 tablespoon per person of canola oil, or in my case, grapeseed oil, whichever you prefer, while I am plating. There's the tongs, the lovely elote. So we got 3 pieces per person, which is probably a lot. I'll apologize in advance if you are full at the end of this. You can do it a little triangle. Chefs loves working in 3s. There's something so much more beautiful in a 3 than a 2. There we go. Get all of that deliciousness going on. Okay, next up, yes, brush with the last of the ancho mayo because you want it to be a little sticky to get all the rest of the ingredients on there. We did this dish last year in the summertime, and it's awesome. And we got a little Roccafiore white in here for the wine pairing this week for the appetizer, which is delicious. So let me have a little taste. Okay. And then Garnish with feta, then cilantro, and finally the fresh lime. So just sprinkle. This is a bit of a messy dish because that's kind of what you want in the summertime. You want to put down your puritanical plating skills and just have some fun with it. Okay, that's looking great. And then our cilantro. If it's a little moist, make sure to just pick it up and spread it around a little bit. Use your hands, get right in there. And the lime. There's probably more lime here than we need. We may scale back. I would say maybe 3 wedges for 2 people is going to be enough. Now, let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Nope. They're not saying season with salt and pepper. I mean, the feta is salty and the mayo is salty, and you've got some spice going on with the mayo, so there we go. Our Mexican elote, done with the cilantro and the ancho, mayonnaise, fresh cilantro, and lime juice. All right, out of the way. Let's get ready for our main course. Okay, I know that this guy is ready to go, so broccoli is going in here. Give that a little stir. Grits a little stir. And so 5 minutes until they begin to caramelize, then 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter per person, followed by the tomatillos and saute for another additional 2 minutes, which is, my timing is really good tonight. Hey Google, off. All right, because I know I need to rest this for 5 minutes. So glaze one more time and allow rest for 5 minutes with the lid on. So hope you kept your lid going. So I'm gonna do a little flip here so that it's glazed on both sides. It is delicious and hot. Hopefully you guys can see this. Excuse my licking the fingers. I don't do this at the restaurant, I promise. But at home, when I know it's just my family and I eating, you get right in there. And this is a messy kind of dish. Lots of barbecue sauce. It's got so much flavor. And before I do that, let me see how I'm doing on this. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. Getting some nice color. So put the heat back on, or the lid back on to hold in the heat and sort of bake the barbecue sauce to the dish. Salt and pepper is going to be important for the end, so make sure to keep that in mind. So I think my pan was on a little hot, so I may be faster than 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and add our butter, and as soon as that melts in just a second, then I am going to add the tomatillos. There we go. And give that a quick stir. Don't forget to season generously with salt and pepper. And my pepper grinder is empty. So thankfully, we usually have a backup, which is great. I don't like this one quite as much. It's prettier, but the other guy has been with me for 30 years now, and it is awesome. That's why that one tends to get out empty first. Okay, Let me tell you about the red one. This is one of my favorites. Connor's paired this with maybe 3 different meal kits now, and it's a Bologna from Valencia in Spain, made from 100% Monastrell, or for the French, the Mourvèdre, sourced from estate vineyards which are averaging 600 meters above sea level, fermented and aged in concrete vats that have been used since the 17th century, brooding dark blackberry, floral, violet notes, and spice. Mourvèdre is this big, meaty, delicious, but still fresh wine because it has this gorgeous acidity even when it's super hot. It is brooding, and there's not a ton or even any oak on here, so you really get the flavor of the Mourvèdre vines. I'm a huge fan. Every time that he pairs this up with something, I was like, yeah, man, I love that wine. Okay, the beef's good. I think our grits are looking amazing and ready to go. So why don't I go ahead and get started on the plating front? You know what? I'm just going to use this. Oh yes, induction telling me, don't leave me alone. So grits, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is it's a white corn base, and it's done treated as a grain like you would. What's a good example? Like a quinoa or something. So they're dehydrated. We cook them a little bit for you in advance, and then we add this pimento cheese, which is a relish and mayonnaise and cheese, and it's a very classic southern U.S. Dish. So spread that out, and tonight I'm using a nice coupe to be able to show off all the different ingredients. And let's see what Chef Rich says on this one. Plating your grits in the center of the plate, and then veggies followed by beef. By the way, I have not seasoned my grits. Very important. Because the richness of them, you definitely need a generous amount of salt and pepper. Okay. And while I've seasoned my veggies, I have not seasoned the beef. So make sure that I do that. Grits, then the veggies, and then top it with the beef with the barbecue sauce. And so what I like to do is put my veggies sort of on the outside so that the beef can go in the center. And you can alternate between the tomatillos and the broccoli. And I think I've gone a little overboard on one plate. But the reason why I film these meal kits other than the video for you guys in advance is so that I can give feedback to the chefs like, hey, we need a little more of this. Hey, we need a little less of that. In this case, and by the way, I'm going to take this butter with the veggies and give it a little toss over there. So I'm going to ask the chefs for a little more broccoli and tomatillos tomorrow and a little less barbecue sauce because there is a ton of barbecue sauce here. Although I'm probably going to add a little bit more at the end. Where are my tongs? There we go. This is looking good. Oof. So the caramelized side is the side that I put down. So I'm going to use that. But make sure you do a little barbecue sauce on both. One last little basting. There we go. And the salt. The short ribs, sometimes there's a fattier, more gristly portion in it, but that's actually the one that I really like. If you see that in your kit, Make sure the fat portion is down versus on the side because it's going to caramelize a little more. So very key. But this is what your finished product should more or less look like. The barbecue beef short ribs with the broccoli, tomatillos, and the pimento cheese grits. I hope you enjoy. Thanks so much for being a part of this. Thanks for letting us send you some great stuff at home. I hope we get to do this again with you soon. And I really appreciate all your support.